Digestive System Notes, Part 3 of 4. By now we've covered most everything. We finished off with talking about how the pancreas not only produces digestive enzymes, but also operates as an important endocrine organ, regulating our blood glucose. All right, so weird ducts? Okay, weird ducts. Ducts, D-U-C-T-S. So the hepatic duct, hepatic refers to the liver. It carries bile, which the liver produces from remember when the body breaks down the old blood cells. So some of the byproducts becomes bile, and bile helps emulsify lipids for digestion. Hepatic duct carries the bile from the liver down to the gallbladder. The common hepatic duct carries the gallbladder. The gallbladder stores this bile until we need it. So the common bile duct is where all the bile comes and dumps into the duodenum. Now this is a nice little representation here. The stomach is tucked right there in the middle. The liver does take up the balance of our upper third of our abdomen there in the right side. So tucked under the stomach in the duodenum there, that little mesentery is the pancreas. And this is a nice representation. You can't even see the pancreas really. You can see the pancreatic duct, which dumps the pancreatic's contents in, is tucked into the stomach. All right, the liver. Honest to goodness picture of a liver, which is right, that little muscle right on top of that is your diaphragm. And above that would be the heart. You can see the heart there encased in fat, this yellow lobule. Here's the liver, there's the falciform ligament. And then these are the intestines under the liver. The stomach would be over here. So the liver takes and processes nutrients. It's important for detoxification of materials from the blood. So if you're taking a lot of NSAIDs as pain relievers, the liver's trying to detoxify these, and if you take these every day, you're going to be doing damage to your liver. That's why the liver also gets damaged by people who drink a lot of alcohol, because it tries to detoxify alcohol. It's a toxin. So this liver that Mrs. Dubas from Kirkwood is holding here, this was the Saturday Scholars. This is an abnormally large liver. You can see the big old gallbladder there. It holds the green bile. But this liver is huge. It came from a person who had liver cancer. That's huge. I mean, you can see it up against her body there. It's like incredibly huge. All right, so the liver is the heaviest internal organ of the body at 3 pounds, maybe heavier than your skin, but not as large. Second largest part of organ of the body because your skin is the largest. The right lobe is bigger than the left, and again, these lobes are separated by this falciform ligament. The gallbladder is tucked under the right side, and again, if we were dissecting, you can see how neatly tucked this is and how it stains the liver green. And you can see it up here, it stains the liver green. Liver functions, remember I told you glycogen. We use blood glucose. It's gone by the time you're done with a 100-meter sprint. But glycogen is your second storage of highly usable starch in the body. It's stored around the liver and the muscles. So when you're running longer distances, you're burning that glycogen. Once that glycogen is all burnt up, runners hit the runner's wall. That is, mean they've used all that glycogen, and it sends a message to the brain says, I'm out of glycogen, ain't going any further. But they push through that wall and they start metabolizing fat and using fat. And then they can be like Forrest Gump, and I just kept running and running and running. Yeah, you can just keep going. Okay, you can keep going. I cannot. I have no distance slow twitch muscle in my body at all. Liver also functions for protein metabolism. It stores oil-soluble vitamins such as vitamin A, D, E, and K. Iron and minerals are stored there. It again removes toxins, hormones, drugs. It can secrete compounds into the bile. It metabolizes your thyroid and steroid hormones. That means it helps make them, okay? It synthesizes bile salts using bilirubin, remember from the blood. If your liver is damaged, the bilirubin builds up and it causes a yellow tint to like the whites of the eyes and the skin. That's not good. So it excretes bile and it helps metabolize That is, makes new cholesterols. So most of the cholesterol that we have in our body is not from what we eat, it's from what our liver produces. That's what research has found. Still, it's not good to eat that trans fat crap. All right. Hi, I'm your liver. Let me tell you how much I love you in 9 ways. It does help store iron reserves, makes bile, detoxifies. It stores energy. That's the glycogen. It helps make blood. It doesn't make the blood. Remember, the blood is made in the bone marrow. I didn't make this thing up, okay? It helps manufacture new proteins. It removes poissons. That is, it helps detoxify your body. It helps make clotting factors, helps make them. It helps defend you against germs. That's so it's part of the immune system. The gallbladder stores the gall, the old English term for bile, the gall. You don't want to eat this stuff because it's nasty. So if you make your liver and onions, get rid of the gallbladder and then it's good. So the bile emulsifies. It breaks up the fat globules. It does not digest them. It emulsifies them to smaller particles so that the lipase thing can break them down to the fatty acids. The small intestine is your major site of digestion and absorption. The first division is duodenum, and duodenum is about 10 inches long. Of course, the trois, quatre, cinq, deux and duo in Latin and all that stuff in Spanish means 12 because it used to be about 12 inches long. The first human, they're, oh, this first 12-inch long curve, it's the duodenum. It's 12 inches. So we'll call it duodenum or duodenum. I don't care. Tomato, tomato. I say duodenum. My buddy Mr. Schwint used to say duodenum, and kids would tell me I'm pronouncing it wrong. They'd tell him he's pronouncing it wrong. They'd pit us against each other, and we're like, who cares? We know what we're talking about. The pancreas and the gallbladder empty the enzymes into the pancreas. Yeah, what? Pancreas and gallbladder empty enzymes and bile. Yeah, okay. They empty those into the duodenum. So major, major, major part of digestion of everything starts occurring in the duodenum. It doesn't start, but it occurs there, and then it continues into the green part, jejunum, and then the ileum, the red part down here. And honestly, you can't tell externally one from the other between the jejunum and ileum. Duodenum is pretty easy to see. The jejunum is about 2.5 meters long. That's 8 feet in the average human. That's taller than you. That's just the jejunum. And digestion and nutrient absorption continues throughout the jejunum. Remember, the inside of the jejunum, you've got all these folds. You got circular folds, which increase surface area. Then you've got villi, these little papillary things sticking up called villi, which increase surface area. Then in the villi, if you look under a microscope, you got microvilli, which we learned about way back in September too, about how that really increases surface area. So it's huge. The ileum is 3.6 meters long. That is 11 feet long in the average human. Yes, your intestines can stretch a long ways. You get a lot of bile reabsorption occurring here. You get the rest of your reabsorption of nutrients. Not much digestion continues here because that's pretty much done by now. But you get a lot of nutrient absorption, and you've got a lot of these things called Peyer's patches, which help fight any bacteria that might sneak back in from the large intestine. It attaches the large intestine at the ileocecal sphincter. Ileo from ileum, cecal from the cecum, the first part of the large intestine, sphincter because it's a round muscle. So nutrient absorption, 90% of all your nutrient absorption takes place in the small intestine. Okay, I alluded to these earlier. Circular folds, villi, and microvilli make the surface area huge inside your intestines. Circular folds like an accordion. The villi, there are these things sticking up here, a whole lot of things, finger-like projections sticking up. And then when you zoom in, this little cut part here of this villi, they zoom in, and you can see the microvilli with all these little hairs on top. The hairs are silly to move the mucus, to move it down. But the villi, oh my goodness, a lot of surface area for absorption. And there's blood vessels going up all through those. The mesentery is an amazing thing. You take the small intestine out and you splay it out, you can see this clear mesentery that lays inside here, and it keeps all that organized. When you release, it all pulls back in a nice compact system the way it's supposed to be. So the mesentery holds all your blood vessels and your lymph tissue throughout here. It keeps it organized so it can absorb all that nutrients. Duodenum, jejunum. Nice picture. Okay. Basically, here at the ileum, where it empties into the cecum, the first part of the colon, large intestine, the ileocecal sphincter is there. You also have an ileocecal valve, a one-way valve, pushes stuff out. So a little bit of stuff seeps back in the small intestine. But other than that, the small intestine should not have bacteria in it. That's why it has Peyer's patches to attack those bacteria. But the cecum, tons of bacteria. It's your colon. It's full of E. coli, Escherichia coli. Okay, this is all a diagram, just a beautiful colored diagram of what you should know from mouth to anus, glands in between. Okay, the small intestine, most absorption occurs in the duodenum and jejunum. Remember, pretty much a lot of the digestion occurs there, absorption. The fats are absorbed by these little things called lacteals, which are part of the lymph tissue, and they absorb the fatty acids. So lacteals absorb the fatty acids, not necessarily the blood, and then they help break them up and get them into the blood. Small intestines from a pig. Domestic pigs are not small by any means. I mean, they're long, they're big, they're huge, they outweigh you and I. But you hang these small intestines out, clean them up. Yeah, that's a lot of intestine right there. Okay, the large intestine, again, the vermiform appendix hangs off the cecum, and some bacteria get into that appendix, and you get a chunk of undigested material down there, and it starts inflaming. That's appendicitis. It can burst. The cool thing is that mesentery that we saw in there, well, you didn't see the mesentery, but the mesentery the omentum, greater omentum around there, will help wall that off and try to protect you. So some people, including a teacher who still teaches at Lindbergh right now, survived a burst appendix. Some people don't. That's why they go and remove that. So the cecum, then you got the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, darn near killed him, and the anal sphincter, which lets it the feces out the anus. Cecum. All right, here. Okay, all that stuff I just went through. Much better diagram right here. So you can see your ileocecal sphincter, the ileum, the vermiform appendix, ascending, transverse, descending, sigmoid, rectum, then the anal levator ani, the anal muscle down here to suck it up, and the anal sphincter is in here. So this is the high school version, or that's this, what you're looking at is more the college version, but I'm teaching the high school version. Okay, so your large intestine, also called the colon, here they did a nice x-ray of it, had the you can see how it kind of goes up and around and down around and down and whew, but it's big. That's why it's called large. It mainly absorbs the excess water from the fecal material. At the onset in the cecum, it's diarrhea. It's just runny, nasty soup. Your body absorbs that excess water, and the longer it sits here in your sigmoid colon rectum, the more water gets absorbed, and the more constipated you get because then the feces become very dry. Vitamin K and biotin is produced by bacteria within the colon. Vitamin K, yeah, it's a waste product for these Escherichia coli, but it's good for us. So we absorb that vitamin K and the biotin. When you're on antibiotics, it tends to wipe these out too, and then we're hurting for vitamin K and biotin as well. Healthy colon, ulcerative colon. Healthy, nice. This is after it's been cleaned a lot. This one's been ulcerated. Look how nasty that is. Eat your veggies. Take good care of your colon. Okay, these little bumps are from people who didn't take good care of their colon and food sat there and festered and made little herniations, basically called diverticula. These little weak blebs or bacteria, if you eat anything with seeds in it and get in there, just cause major pain. That's called diverticulosis. Pockets in the colon caused by poor diet. Eat your raw vegetation. Just don't go eat grass, eat good stuff. I mean, dogs eat grass, but we're not dogs.